I remember wanting to become a prosecutor the first time I was in a courtroom. I interned for a prosecutor's office when I was in law school, and we were able to do some court proceedings. And I remember the first time I was able to shadow another prosecutor and go to court. And I remember walking into a courtroom for the first time, and I had never felt anything like it before. I fell in love with the trial work and being in court, but I also just came to really appreciate that when you're in a court, everybody is treated the same. The law applies equally to everybody. It's the one place you look to where there are no special treatments. So I remember stepping into court the first time. I went to law school because I really wanted to go into public service. I wasn't sure what that was going to be when I started law school. But like I said, when I got that internship at the prosecutor's office and get my first real court experience, that's when I knew I'd found my place. The best part about being a prosecutor is really when you have a case and you know you just got it right. You were able to find out exactly what happened. You were able to prove the case that you had, meet all the elements you had, and hold someone accountable. And really just feeling like at the end of the day, you got it right and justice was done. I think one of the hardest things about being a prosecutor is no one wants to get your phone call. When you call someone and say you're from the prosecutor's office, they're generally not going to be happy to hear from you. When you need to talk to witnesses, when you need to speak with victims, when you need to find out what happened on a case, it's really difficult to convince people to cooperate with you and to let them know that really what you want is just the truth. You're just trying to find out what happened. So I think the hardest parts on your days as a prosecutor is when you're feeling like you're really trying to find out what happened and you're not getting cooperation from the people that you need to talk to. Those are always, I think, the hardest days. I don't know if it's impacted me so much, but when I was first in grand jury in 2016, I got a case that involved a shooting outside of a club. So there's lots of people around, but it's lots of chaos. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on. There's so many different accounts and testimonies to look at and figure out exactly what happened. And I worked with the detective really early on in the case, and he and I poured through all of the video evidence, and we were able to determine that one of the people identified as a potential defendant actually could not have committed the crime. Looking at the video, it was not physically possible for him to be in the place where the crime happened. And I remember just thinking it was such an incredible experience to be working with a detective early on in a case, and that we were both just concerned about getting it right. We were trying to sift through all the evidence, but I really enjoyed taking that time early on in a case and working with a detective where our goal was really just to get it right and make sure that we had the right person. I think the biggest misconception about prosecutors is that we're win at all costs. And when you look at the legal community as a whole, prosecutors are separate from everyone else. When you're a lawyer, you have a client, and you're there to represent their interests at all costs. When you're a prosecutor, your higher duty is to make sure that you are doing justice and doing the right thing at all times. And that may be prosecuting someone for something they did. It may be going back and saying, did we get this one right? Do we have the right person here? Let's take a second look at this. Your job is always to do justice. And so I think oftentimes when you look at TV shows and whatnot, we often get portrayed as win at all cost lawyers, and I just don't think that's the case in our office.